Speed.
Love it.
Danger.
Love it.
Guy Martin is a death-defying motorcycle racer and gritty world record breaker. The only thing he loves more than going fast is graft. He'd rather go to work than spray champagne.
I'm not much of a people person, not really. I just like my own time tinkering in the shed with my dog. I'm not designed for crowds of people. I'm not designed. And you just think, where does that come from? Because where does that come from? And I think the bloke that was very much like that was my granddad. My mum's dad is a legend. Waldermas Kidalls, or Walter, I know him as. He's always fascinated me. Smart-looking bloke, eh? He was from Latvia. Of course I miss him. Sitting in his shed with him, I miss that.
With the 10th anniversary of his Grandad Walter's death approaching, Guy now wants to find out more about the man he admired so much, and Latvia, the country where his roots lie. But there is a twist to the tale.
We know loads about my granddad. There's a lot of grey areas. But it's not the elephant in the room, but it's not spoken about much. He fought for the Germans in the Second World War. Was he made to fight for the Germans? I don't know. Only one way to find out. Yeah, go to Latvia. Let's go to Latvia, let's do a bit of digging. Come on.
Guy's personal pilgrimage will uncover the lost sights of his grandfather's childhood.
It is a bit of a moving moment, yeah. You're not going to get any tears out of me, anything, though.
The truth about his grandfather's Latvian legion fighting for the Nazi SS.
Jesus, what?
The brutal realities of the country's old authoritarian regime. And what it means to be descended from an immigrant.
They are here to do the dirty jobs that English people will not look at.
Guy's trip will finish with a family reunion.
Like a bloody rabbit in the headlights, I don't know what to do.
Where he'll meet his Latvian cousins for the first time.
Hello.
Younger son, hello. Pleased to meet you. Right.
By discovering more about his granddad, Guy Martin is going to learn a lot more about himself.
Do an impression of my granddad. Quiet man, he didn't say much.
Voldemars Kittels was born in 1920 in Latvia. He moved to Lincolnshire in 1947 and died in 2006, when Guy was 24. The sheds he built in his back garden still stand untouched. Two of his children, Guy's mother Rita and her brother John, have fond memories.
He used to fuss Guy when he was little. I mean, Guy used to come down, he used to show him round his garden with his sheep and his pigs.
It wasn't unusual on a Sunday evening to pop down the garden to feed your rabbits to find they'd suddenly disappeared, and only to discover later on that you'd actually ate it for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a regular occurrence, that. He was a grafter. I never remember seeing my dad laid in bed in the morning. He was always up at the crack of dawn, all weathers.
Walter's love of work had a great influence on young Guy. Even on rare holidays abroad, he'd prefer weeding the garden in a suit to visiting the beach.
Loved his sheds. You go down Grandad's shed and it was an education. You wouldn't say much. You knew what the rule was in sheds. Speak when spoken to. Never chucked out away. Yeah, look at that. Keep all the nuts, just in case. You might need them one day. Yes, I always remember as a kid going around with my granddad's. My granddad still live there. Oh, Lil. What's happening there?
That's when we got married.
Is it?
9th of March 1952. October when we met.
Right. Met in the October, married in the March. Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wasn't a little angel.
Why not? What was I doing?
Mischief.
Mischief? It's in the breeding, though, ain't it? Eh? bit wrong.
Everyone in Guy's family is keen to know more about Walter's past and the country he came from. And that means heading to where the story begins. Latvia. Today, Latvians like to think of themselves as the best of the Baltics. The local joke is that they are more modern than Lithuanians and cleverer than Estonians. But the truth is Guy's ancestral roots lie in a country that has been trampled by the wars of foreign rulers for hundreds of years.
Swatting up in the airport, learning a bit about Latvia. This is what I've learned so far. 13th century, a load of German warrior monks ruled Latvia. 16th century, Poles and Lithuanians are in charge.
We're fully ready now to depart to Riga this afternoon.
17th century now, Sweden's running the job. Hey, well, yeah, so now 18th century, under Russian control. Pillar to post, pillar to post. We're here, we're here.
Nice, isn't it?
We're here for a week. First night, I think we should have a pint, I think. Early night, early start. As I've been telling you, every man and the dogs had a go at ruling Latvia. Anyway, after the First World War, they got it to themselves. Bit of independence, and they built this. You see, Freedom Monument, all funded by the Latvian people. Oh, there it is, that's the real thing. That's the real thing. I wonder what that is. Very nice copper.
Latvia's independence only lasted 25 years. Being squeezed between the superpowers of Germany and Russia meant during World War II, the country experienced multiple invasions. After the war, it was turned into a Soviet republic, something Latvians still consider an illegal occupation. Independence only returned in 1991. Guy's first appointment is in the middle of Riga's medieval old town, with a genealogist who's been researching his family history for 3 months. Dr. Alexander's Feimanis.
So the very first documents I find about your relatives, I find in 1835 census Andrei Kidel, which was born in 1790s in southeastern Latvia, precisely on the border with Lithuania.
Right, okay, yeah.
All that area was inhabited by Curonians, so you are descendant of Curonians.
Curonian, what's a Curonian?
It was very brave tribe because they made a war with Vikings.
Right.
The Curonians were ruthless pirates and the heroes of many Middle Ages legends. Guy is related to one of the toughest tribes in history.
What is interesting is that in the Olaf Church you can find a bell with inscription, God save us from devil and Curonians.
Viking fighters. Bit amazing, that.
So we know that your great-great-grandfather, David, son of Andrei Kidel, was enrolled into Russian army in 1853. That was the time started the famous Crimean War.
Yeah, the Crimean War.
Yeah.
Yes.
At that time, military service was for 25 years.
Okay. 25 years?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
It was terrible, of course. I cannot imagine that.
Yeah.
Guy's ancestors were clearly made of stern stuff. But what of his grandfather Walter, or Voldemar's?
The very first document about Walters we have from 1935 census.
So you've been 15-year-old then?
Yeah, born in 1920.
Okay.
In Liepa district, in Asite parish.
Yes.
School building.
Yes.
Voldemar, your grandfather, lived in this school building. You see, here we find under number 18, Voldemar's Kidels. Here's written he worked in agriculture. Right. He already started to be a peasant, let's say.
Right.
The most likely reason a teenage Walter lived at the school was because he was an orphan. But local records also reveal where his childhood home had been.
Near Asite, the family has a farm called Rosh-Kalni, or Hill of Roses.
Okay, Hill of Roses.
Absolutely.
Rosh-Kalni, that's what it's... Right. We need to go there for a look, don't we? Alex, thank you very much for your effort.
You're welcome, dear Guy. And welcome to Latvia.
His grandfather's hometown of Asite is 200 kilometers away along the unpaved tracks of rural Latvia. and winter is coming. Luckily, rugged transport is easy to rent in Latvia. This Lada Riva 1300S was built in 1982, so he's the same age as Guy.
Oh, just look. Just love it. I open the doors. Do you hear that? Precision. There is no better car for this job. You could hear the engine die.
Guy's Latvian adventure is underway. The next stop is his grandfather's hometown to start uncovering what secrets lie behind the man he admires so much. Guy Martin is in Latvia to find out more about one of his heroes, his late grandfather, Walter Kittles.
I reckon few people have said I look like him. I think he's far better looking than me. Far better looking than me. Look at that. Doesn't he? Yeah, Waldemar's. Smart looking bloke, eh?
First, Guy is tracking down what he can about his grandfather's childhood.
My mum texted me this morning, but I don't know how she got my number.
He's heading deep into the countryside.
Latvia's pretty great, isn't it? It's great. Right, enjoying it. It's a hell of a place. It just sort of brings it home, really. I do like the simple life. He's in the wire, and he must be in the hard drive. Oh, we're in the sticks. Yeah, you see. No tarmac on the roads. You see. Loud as at one, though. Loud as at one. Okay, it deals with them bumps all right, don't it? As the ladder gets off and rolls us up.
After a 4-hour drive from Riga, he arrives in Asite, the hamlet where his grandfather Walter grew up.
All right, this is us, boys. Come on.
The first driveway leads to the former schoolhouse where Walter boarded. An elderly couple live there now.
In the middle of nowhere. When was the last time we saw a house? Yeah, I'll go knock. Okay. What shall I say? Sveiki. Sveiki.
Guy's on hallowed ground. His Uncle John remembers how emotional his father would get about his native country.
He was passionate about Latvia. He loved the Latvian countryside, and I think reflecting back, I think he missed it tremendously.
A couple live in the school. They don't want to be filmed, but they're quite happy for us to come in where we are now and do a bit of filming. So, which is great, isn't it?
The school was founded in 1914 and was originally much bigger. But during the Second World War, it was largely dismantled by Russian soldiers searching for firewood. Every morning, pupils sat in the classrooms and recited a poem promising to study hard.
Oh, can I imagine him being taught it? Did he pay attention? Let's be honest, we was all little buggers at school, weren't we? Weren't we? I'm sure Walter wasn't different. It's just nice, quiet, peaceful. Yeah, I can see where Walter's love of Latvia came from. Yeah, beautiful place.
As well as academic lessons,
FH16, 520 horsepower then.
The students helped with the school's housekeeping and maintenance around the grounds.
Outside toilet. Look at that, it's a proper dunny that, mate. If that was me, I'd have that turn around the other way and be pooing with the door open. While you're doing your ablutions, door open, view like that, my word. Lovely place, isn't it? I stood here by myself for 10 minutes earlier and just listened to nothingness.
2,500 people used to live in Asite, but after fierce fighting destroyed half the parish in World War II, the area fell into decline. The last surviving resident with memories of Walter's time is an old ranger, Sigurd Spinger.
My granddad lived in a farm not far from here called Roshkelny. I just wondered how far that was from here, and is there any chance of a farm being there now or anything being there now?
Sakat lūdzu, Sigurd, varbūt esat par Roškalniem?
Tom Sillins will act as Guy's interpreter.
Kas īsti notiek?
Roškalna saimniecība, tā, ja es pareizi, kā saka, zinu un saprotu.
Could we go just to have a look, just to see if there is the land, you know,
Surely,
how
sure.
far from here is it?
I think Sigurd can show us the way there.
The only record of the old tracks and houses in Asitei is Sigurd's 90-year-old hunting map.
Jau pēc kara liela daļa platības netika izmantots.
Are we on this road here?
Jā, robežas piegāja te Polēņu mežsarga māja bija.
So we need to go up northeast and then start coming back down on ourselves. Yeah. Sigurd, thank you very much. Thank you. Top man.
Guy follows the directions to the place where his granddad was born. It was a thriving area during Walter's time. There were 319 farms, 2 windmills and 3 dairies. Latvians worked the land hard, becoming one of the world's biggest exporters of butter and bacon between the wars. But late in 1944, long after Walter had moved away, the parish was flattened when caught in the Eastern Front crossfire between German and Russian forces. Today, nothing is left.
Come and have a look. See, mate, up the tree. Look at my view. That was Walter's view. What a place. Oh, I'm not going to get all deep in mania for the movie. I just think it's just nice to look at what my granddad was looking at. It is a bit of a moving moment, yeah. You're not going to get any tears out of me, anything though.
Now, the only evidence of the family farm is a few foundation stones.
Bet so much was here, wasn't it? Hey? The perimeter wall. Yeah, that's all that's left. Oh, Walter would be over the moon, wouldn't he? But we'd be dead pleased he'd made the effort. We found a bit of Roshkelny. I hope he'd be chuffed that that we actually care. We care about what he did. I'm glad we came. I'm going to get my camera and take a picture of this. My mother has this story when my granddad, he used to love going to the church. Church was only 3/4 of a mile from his house. He'd walk there in his bare feet because he didn't want to take mud into the church. We need to go find the church, don't we? We need to go find the church. Come on. There's some remains. We've got some remains in there. You take. Come on. This must be it. Walter's church, eh? That's not seen any communions for a day or two, has it? Hey? Bugger. Built in 1709, destroyed in the war, and never rebuilt. Of course I miss him. Sitting in his shed with his lambs, I miss that. If I had my time again and knew what I knew now, I would try and sit and talk. What would Walter say to me? He'd say, don't believe the hype. He wouldn't say that, but he'd say something that comes down to that. Oh, I'd listen to him, wouldn't you? His eyes will see more than my eyes will ever see.
The Second World War ravaged Latvia's buildings and infrastructure, but had an even more devastating effect on its citizens. Situated between Germany and Russia, Latvia was invaded 3 times in quick succession. Some 500,000 people, nearly a third of the population, either fled, were deported, or were killed. And yet the story couldn't have begun more peacefully.
In 1939, the start of the Second World War. Look, as you can see here, Latvia is hunky-dory. Doesn't want any part of the war. Smart-looking folk. And it's James Bond, isn't it? Yeah, they look happy campers, don't they? Yeah, 1940. Who is this? This is the Russians coming in.
While the world was distracted by Germany invading France, Russia rolled into Latvia and seized power through rigged elections. They carried out a mass inventory. Every nut and bolt was now owned by the communist state.
And then this is anyone that put up a bit of a fight. Any Latvian at all that thought, hang on, I've worked all my life, I've earned this much money. And came out with a few choice words to the Russians. That was it, right. Get on that train, we're taking you to Siberia, mate. And that was it, to the gulags.
Latvians call 1940 the Year of Terror.
This is Latvia here, the KGB headquarters. Rubber padded room, plug hole in the corner, a torture chamber. The Latvians, as you would be, you're bloody sick to the back teeth of the bloody Russians. Your sons or your dads or your daughters all getting sent off to the gulags. They hated the Russians, they hated the Russians. Here we are, 41. World War II's getting going now. And now the Germans coming to Latvia. And it only takes them 2 weeks to push the Russians out. The Latvians welcomed the Germans in with open arms. Handing out flowers. Welcome the Nazis in. The Latvians are that sick of the bloody Russians. Yeah, little did they know, all was not good.
The Nazis entered Latvia claiming to be liberators, but they recruited a group of far right-wing Latvians and carried out some of the worst atrocities of the Holocaust, including the massacre of 25,000 Jews across just 2 nights in 1941.
Anyone that had a bit of a deformity, or you was Jewish, or you was, that was it, right. Torture them, send them off to the concentration camps. Look at them there, battery ends. I think all in all, I think was there 80,000 Jews that was killed out of Latvia. 80,000.
Then, desperate for more troops to face the Russians, Hitler ordered Latvian men, some as young as 16, to be conscripted into the Waffen-SS, the Nazi Party's military division. The choice was simple: fight for Germany or be shot.
My granddad had been amongst there somewhere.
The Waffen-SS was made up of more than 30 different divisions containing volunteers and conscripts from all over Europe, including Holland, Scandinavia, and France. The Latvian Legion was largest of all. It's remembered today by the Association of Latvian Soldiers Battle Reenactment Society. This band of architects, engineers and students all had relatives who fought in the Second World War. This is an important period of history to Latvians, but there are few survivors left. These battle reenactments ensure their ancestors are never forgotten.
Russia v Germany at war. So yeah, we've got the Russians coming in here from the north, small unit. Close off the road, enemies to the left. I'm nervous now. This is just a bit of friendly mucking about.
In 1945, Commanding Officer Colonel Adolf Ax reported that most Latvians fought because they saw Hitler as the lesser of two evils, compared to Stalin. But privately, the Legionnaires would sing about first defeating the Russians, then turning their guns on their Nazi commanders.
3 Russians to finish off. That's it, game over. Latvia 1, Russia 0. Spot on, lads! Grand job! Grand job, spot on!
These days, the politics are left at home and everyone shakes hands at the end of the fight. So what part did Guy's grandfather Walter play as a member of the Latvian Legion? Latvia's war archives are about to reveal all. Guy Martin is back in Riga to find out more about one of the most influential people in his life, his late Latvian granddad, Walter.
Quiet, really private man, Deep voice, deep, very, very deep, very deep. He used to put his tea on his custard, get it all done in one sitting. He used to give his sons sticks, bits of wood, as building blocks. That was Christmas presents. He used to make benches and always put tags on them that he'd engraved. Yeah, interesting bloke.
Walter was conscripted into the Latvian Legion and made to fight for Germany in World War II. The only place to find out more is in Latvia's War Museum. Latvia's leading historical researcher, Valdis Kuzmins, works in the underground archives.
All right, Valdis.
Hello. We found 3 documents where your granddad mentioned what he did during the war.
Right.
In all documents, his name is not Valdemars, but Janis.
Right. Janis.
Janis.
This is the actual record of conscription from 1944. It seems while Janis was his given name, he preferred to go by his middle name of Valdemars.
Yep, date of birth there, you can't argue with it. Janis Kidals, 28th of the 2nd, 20.
There is 80,000 citizens of Latvia who were conscripted. Most of them were conscripts, 90%. They didn't have a choice.
So if my granddad avoided conscription, what would that have meant?
What was the biggest problems is that your relatives, your family would suffer as well. If you run away or hide as a deserter, for example, your family might be sent to camp as well, or some land taken away. Right. First unit your granddad was sent to was 19th Artillery Regiment. Yes. So at the beginning he was an artilleryman, a gunner.
Yeah.
After extensive training, the 19th Regiment of the Latvian Legion joined the war in August 1944, fighting near Riga on the Eastern Front against the Soviet Red Army. But further records suggest Walter may not have actually served here.
The next document we found where his name is mentioned is 4th of April 1945, but this time he's not an artilleryman, but he is an infantryman.
Infantry.
And
so that was really the cannon fodder?
Yeah, cannon fodder.
It was expensive to train gunners like Walter, so to subsequently send him to the Latvian unit on the front line must have been as a punishment, most likely because he tried to desert.
At one point he decided this war is not for him, and he somehow escaped.
You've heard of this happening before?
Yes, sure.
Right.
I mean, thousands of times, thousands of
is
guys.
that right?
Yeah, people were trying to escape.
Many deserters,
Many deserted. And they were
for no reason to fight. They had no reason to fight.
That's right.
Yeah.
How Walter escaped is unclear, but the records show he was recaptured and sent to a Latvian division retreating west, on the run from a merciless Red Army pushing on to Berlin. There were just 5 months of the war left, and the Latvians were exhausted from trying to survive. It was something Walter rarely spoke about to his son, Guy's Uncle John.
I think it was too painful a process to talk about his past. On the few occasions he talked to me, it was certainly a horrendous experience. You know, he talked about his mate being took out by a sniper at the side of him, and marching on the roads and seeing people strung up crucified as they marched.
Really?
Yeah. Very tough.
So what they were hoping for, to reach Western allies, Americans and British Army, and surrender.
And then you would be a prisoner of war of the Americans or the British.
That's right.
Right.
And there is a document number 3, which is a document prepared in British prisoner of war camp in Belgium. And in this camp we have Kiedels.
Yeah, Janice.
And right here you can see some of the photos from that camp.
This was the mostly Latvians in
yeah,
this,
mostly
in this one.
Latvians, yeah.
At first, the Allies running the Belgium camp only saw SS uniforms. It would take more than a year before the Latvians were released, cleared of being Nazis.
You just think, and this is just one story. It's my granddad, just one story. Of how many? 100, how many thousand? 120?
120.
120,000. Yeah, it's hard to put into words.
It was
Thank
very
you very
interesting
much.
for us as well. Thank you.
It's a lot to take in, but it's starting to sink in. At every turn, he's had it hard. And he kept all this bottled up. We've had to come all the way to Latvia to find this out. I just think, what a boy. A brave man. A brave man.
At the end of the war, the Soviet Union took over all of the Baltic countries. Everything that had been built up in the 20s and 30s was eradicated. Stalin made the farms work for the state and made the schools teach Russian. 120,000 Latvian patriots were deported to Siberia or jailed. It's a period remembered here, the notorious Korosta prison, where inmates were tortured and deserters were shot. Run by the Soviet military until the 90s, remarkably it's now a £15 a night hotel, offering an authentic taste of an authoritarian regime to stag parties, hen-dos and adventurous tourists.
Hello?
Сюда иди. Так. Опусти руки.
He smacked my hand away. I thought, all right, we sort of know where we stand here, don't we? We sort of know where we stand here.
Что здесь?
Yeah.
Что тут? Нахрен это?
I haven't pooed myself, no, but...
Встал сюда. Руки за голову.
I've said this before, just because of the stuff I've read, and it's just confirmed. Do not mess with the Russians.
Спину выпрямил! Понял?
The most intimidating thing is the Russian boys.
Видишь?
Yeah. The Russian, but you aren't messing with that man, are you?
Землю, пятки, я говорю!
They know what was left, what was right, what was up, what was down, what was 180. I didn't know.
Налево! Повторяю, лево! Говори, лево!
Yeah, lever.
Лево!
Lever. I genuinely thought we'd come here. Bit of gruel, bit of banter. Even thought about bringing me a book. I thought I might sit in the cell and read me a book. It'd be all right, we'll have a bit of crack. No.
Тебе ж объяснили, как правильно все надо.
You can see me, boys. You've seen me. We've worked together a long time. You haven't seen me like that before.
Пошел! Работай!
Start.
Bed making. To be honest, I was quite proud of my bed making. I didn't think much to it.
Это что за уши такие? Давай на выход!
Worst hotel in Europe. I did stay at a dodgy B&B in Scarborough once. It wasn't quite as bad as that.
Работай! Работай, сказал! Везде!
How long will it take for us to see the funny side of that? Maybe on the plane home. Hey? That was authentic. Latvians do not do things by halves.
These are the Liepāja northern forts. Originally a World War I naval base, they were the last sight of the country many Latvians saw. After the war, 26,000 people left the Soviet-controlled Baltics and headed to Britain. In 1946, the Labour government wanted to replenish the post-war workforce and was one of the first administrations to welcome refugees. They were known as displaced persons. Giant transport ships brought them overnight to Tilbury or Harwich in the south and Hull in the east. They were fed, given a little pocket money, and housed in holding camps before being recruited into jobs from Scotland to Devon.
Movement through Hull of the displaced persons from all parts of Europe is expected to begin next Wednesday.
The Hull Daily Mail published a series of articles in 1946, enthusiastically reporting the arrival of the immigrants.
They are here to do the dirty jobs that English people will not look at. They are likely to show up the British workmen with their eagerness to work hard. Keen as mustard. We've got dentists, doctors, surveyors from Latvia wanting to come to England and do anything to get out of the Soviet regime. Is that what my granddad was thinking?
Walter was released from his Belgian prisoner of war camp and reached Hull in 1947 at the age of 27.
I think he was always very thankful that he'd been given a home here, but he hadn't come to be provided for by the state. He came to work.
He worked as a farm labourer, miner and builder, becoming a British citizen in 1948. He went on a blind date to Hull Fair with Lillian, and it was love at first sight. The rest is history.
Look what happens when you let immigrants in, you ain't with folk like me. Hey, but if it weren't for the eagerness of the British to let the Latvians, not just Latvians, to let the Europeans in, I wouldn't be here now, would I? And we wouldn't be here telling this story, would we? Interesting reading, though. Just makes you think. Yeah, just makes you think.
Scared of Russian reprisals, Walter only ventured back to Latvia twice, once with his daughter in 1979 to visit his long-lost brothers.
I remember my dad translating what my uncle had said, and he'd said, "Oh, be careful what you say, because the room will be booked."
The second time was in 1990, just before Latvian independence, with his son John.
Till his dying days he was fearful of the Russians, but his heart was still in Latvia. And I think that's where he probably longed to be, really.
There's only one thing left for Guy to do. His Uncle John has helped arrange a family reunion. Guy's about to meet his Latvian cousins for the first time. It's Guy Martin's final day in Latvia. This afternoon he'll be attending a family reunion and meeting his Latvian cousins for the first time. He wants to take some local delicacies to the gathering, so heads for Riga's market, housed within these vast World War I Zeppelin hangars.
Come on, let's have a look in here. Let's have a look in here. It's fresh. I think a good vet to get that man going again. Zeppelin hangars, built by the Germans in the 20s. See, it's impressive, isn't it? That's a lot of steel work. Self-supporting. You wouldn't do that in a tea break, would you? Now, Europe's biggest indoor market. Can I buy those, please?
Guy is going to attempt his shopping trip with the only two words of Latvian he knows. Hello.
Sveki.
And thank you.
Paldies. Paldies. Thank you. Sveki. The gherkins. Yes. Yes, yes, paldies, yeah. Paldies. Paldies. Sveki.
Classic.
Classic. Paldies. Thank you. Oh, perfect. Pig fat, pork fat. Pig fat, pork fat. Pig fat. That, you can really, that feels like you've got a bar of wax in your mouth. This, please. Dankeschön. Paldies. Thank you very much. Gone through 3 languages there, as you'll find, James.
In just 10 minutes, Guy will be meeting 8 of his Latvian cousins, the Kiddles.
I'm a bit nervous. I don't really want to let our British side down. But I'm all right, I've got pig fat and flatbread. Let's get the eating spanners laid out.
He has one other important piece of equipment.
The family tree. Are we here? Like a bloody rabbit in the headlights, I don't know what to do. What do you think? Come on. All right. Hello.
Cousin Alita is an English teacher.
Sveiki. Sveiki.
Guys,
Yes.
Alita.
Alita. Pleased to meet you.
I
Alita.
recognize.
I'm dead nervous.
Yeah?
I'm dead nervous,
Really?
yeah, I am.
Why? I am nervous. Let's try. I'll try to compare.
It's a good start. We've got a good start. We've got a good start.
Your grandfather was Valdemars.
Valdemars, yes.
And my grandfather is Arvids.
Yes.
And they were brothers.
Yes, right.
And with me
Yep.
together is Uldis.
22-year-old Uldis is a student who wants to be a teacher.
Uldi, this is your son.
Hello.
Your son. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, mate. How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Uldis. I'm Guy.
I know.
I'm dead nervous, mate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It was really, really weird seeing someone who looks so much like our grandfathers.
You see how they are, all of them like you.
Yes.
We are Kiddles.
You can see?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
They've got like a square-like face and these side beards.
Next up is Gatis, who started Latvia's first discotheque.
Gatis, I am Guy. Pleased to meet you, mate. What do you do?
25 years in Latvian show business.
Ah, is that right?
Sound and Light rental company.
That's where my Raving Street comes from Gatis, my cousin. Hello.
Aina.
Aina, pleased to meet you, Aina.
Walter Kiddles is Kai Krustāvs.
Your uncle.
Yes.
You okay?
Maris.
Maris, pleased to meet you, Maris.
Uldis.
Now look, I'm Guy. Pleased to meet you, mate. You okay?
Jānis.
And Yanis.
Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. So we're cousins?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cousins. I feel disappointed I don't speak any Latvian. I'm sorry. I feel, yeah. Paldies and Sveiki. That's it. Yeah, so yeah.
Do you look? Who is you?
I've never seen this picture. Never seen. She asked my granddad for a photo of our side of the family in 1996.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah. Nice, chatty people. No awkwardness. No one looking down the nose at anyone. We went to Assite, to Roshkalny, where their house was.
Yes.
Oh, you've heard Roshkalny? And we just traced it back to where it was, and now there is nothing. There's nothing, but we found a few bricks in the floor.
Yeah.
I really love this casuality of him, the kind of person he is, this friendliness.
I raced the motorbikes in England. We take pictures
You
of
like
motorbikes.
speed? Yeah, do you like speed?
Yeah, too much.
Too
much.
Now we
much.
have one thing common.
Why? What do you like about speed?
I like speed.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
You should see
Next.
her driving. As I understand, he's quite known in Britain, isn't he? Yeah, and there was this one interview where he went to some friend's house to paint the walls and just do nothing, and that is actually exactly how our family is. We like the quiet places, we don't enjoy the cities.
Beer? You alright with the beer?
No, thank you.
You don't want a beer?
The milk.
The milk, no problem.
It's really hard to get the trust of a Latvian. That's where you isolate yourself, so you could value the people that you can really, really trust and not open up to everyone.
Can we say cheers?
Cheers.
Breaker.
Nice to meet you.
Breaker. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. It's been brilliant. I will be back, I think, yeah. You have a beautiful country. Well, I was genuinely dead nervous, and now I could not be more pleased. Could not be more pleased.
And that's the end of Guy's trip. As a final tribute to Walter, he decides to build a bench. With an uninterrupted view of the Latvian countryside.
Don't look over there, you're getting the wrong bloody ideas. There's the M1 over there. No, look there, that's all right there. Oh, definitely I'm coming back. Loved it, mega. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Ah, she's coming back. I've done loads of learning and I've come away and I love the place, it's bloody great. I like the people, I like the place, I like the buildings, I like the pace of life, I like the unknown history, I like that. I like that the larder doesn't lock, I've left everything in the larder, nothing's been touched.
Does he not?
It's just given me a good understanding why I do certain things a certain way. I'm at peace when I'm at work, and I think I found out why. Because it's the Latvian way, isn't it? They all like a bit of graft. It is in the reading, my strange ways. Learned about my granddad. That man did not have it easy. And we've filled a lot of grey areas about that man. A lot of grey areas that even his sons and daughters didn't know, that even his wife didn't know. I admire the man even more. 100%, I'm dead proud. Proud to have a bit of Latvian blood. Is this like Latvia's Stonehenge?